Hello. Oh, fuck. I forgot to start Audacity. Ah, shit. So, what did I learn in my second year of college? This video has been basically on the back burner for literally almost 2 years behind because I have something called problems. And also, there was a big thing that happened that prevented me from working on such problems. What I learned is basically nothing. So glad that you caught this video. Please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I don't give a shit. No, there's actually more. That wasn't the exactly only thing that I learned throughout college, my second year, because my second year was more interesting than not, but it was very much masked behind a thin veil of what the fuck is going on. Let's sort of kind of dig deep down into what really happened, and does it even make any sense? For last year, I don't know if you guys have lived under a rock or basically haven't gone outside or been on social media at all. There was a pandemic that happened called COVID-19, and that completely destroyed any semblance of normalcy, of literally anything that you could imagine for anybody that is stepping into something new. Brand new college students, high school seniors, anything that resembles sort of, what you would even remotely go for, completely thrown out of the water, or out the window, my bad. And it completely ruined several different things. For instance, my college experience. I am poor. So that means I go to a community college, and that would be fantastic, except these colleges don't often have a whole lot of resources outside of what they're able to provide. And that funnels into online learning. And that means you basically just go on your computer, you wake up whenever, and you check into whatever you use, in this case, Blackboard, and basically just cried the entire time. You are on Zoom, your camera's off, your camera's muted, and everything is awful. This happened to be a big problem because any sort of semblance of having a schedule or having any sort of sense of trying to keep things together really didn't exist. I regularly caught myself waking up at noon, 11, maybe 2, and it was really bad. My sleep schedule completely fucked. My entire routine completely fucked. It's a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare. And COVID really fucked things up. And online schooling did not help because you could just go on your computer wherever and you could just do your schoolwork, and hopefully you didn't have a lecture that you had to go to, which we will get into Zoom now. A lot of these classes took over this Zoom, and Zoom is Discord but bad, and Discord's already really bad to begin with. It was very difficult to do any work in, and that was simply because internet was really bad. And this is not talking about my internet, even though that it is slower than, the fucking Mars rover. It's slower than that. And somehow I was able to do just fine in my Zoom lectures. What really sucked was everybody else. So the professor often would have like a document camera and they would be showing you all these papers, and it was such a smeary, pixelated bukkake of a mess that you could not see anything. You could not understand anything that was written. You could not comprehend anything that they would be saying because they would sound like two transformers having sex in a microwave inside of another microwave. Completely indescribable. And you had to work with that. They would hopefully be able to help you out, but you couldn't understand them enough to really give a shit. And you were just taking this class to just, get your associates or your bachelor's or whatever you're going for. This was really bad because you would have to turn to Google. And Google is both really great, but really bad because if you Google the right things, you could become too knowledgeable, and you would have to sort of dial back your answers if you didn't want to come off as, oh, you just looked it up. While recording that, I kind of messed up on what I really wanted to say. Basically, if you look up all your answers through Google, there are certain bits of information that you might write down, and that would be considered wrong because either Google what you looked up is wrong, or the fact that they're not in the book, and they're always going to go by the book unless if they specify other sources or you're doing your own research on a particular subject. But I completely messed that up. I apologize. I'm sorry. Please don't kill me. Gotta stay hydrated. It was really fucking bad. I regularly just did not give a shit about the material. I did not care about anything that was going on. And Zoom just sucked. It really fucking sucked. I don't know what Zoom... Zoom sucks. It dies. It should just die in a fire. But this is not as bad as Blackboard, because Blackboard happened to have their own Zoom competitor, and it was all within the Blackboard platform. This was somehow even worse. The quality of, people sounding through their microphones were absolutely terrible, absolutely just dog shit and bad, and oh my god, it was really fucking bad. I don't know how they did it, but they made it worse. You couldn't save your recordings, as well as also you had to go on to, Blackboard to do it. And if you don't know anything about Blackboard, it's like having just an STD. And it just gets worse. It's just several STDs combined into where you're supposed to do all your schoolwork. It's awful. I hate it. It's very bad. I am so glad we are done with that, because Blackboard sucks cock. It's just so fucking bad. I can't even explain it. It's just awful. Literally dog shit. Assignments wouldn't be turned in properly. For whatever reason, if you try to submit work and you're trying to bounce around to a couple things, there would be a slim chance that it would not submit your work. And then you would have to make sure that you would get the email receipts that you submitted work. But those wouldn't send either, because it's a piece of shit. So you would have to constantly refresh it every, I want to say 10 minutes to make sure that you turned your work in. And sometimes that's a little too late, because everybody is trying to turn in their work at the same time, because they all did it last minute, because no one has any real expectations to turn work in because of COVID. And we're going to get into this next step of what were the expectations of turning work in? Literally, if you're not dead and breathing, you can still turn it in, which is fine. But work shit happens. Life happens. And I feel like a lot of these professors put a lot of emphasis on if you have a computer, you can turn your work in. That's not necessarily what the case is. It was sometimes either very easy, or it was a lot of gargantuan work that you could not feasibly turn in on time. And there was no in between of, it was, the best of both worlds. Although I don't know if there's really a best, because you're still doing work. Most of the professors that I got they just slammed you with work, and you gotta pray that you get it in on time. And that works for some people, but it does not work for a lot of others. And I was one of the very few, many, that did not really work well. So that was really bad. It was not great, but it was not terrible. And it was so fucking bad. It was so fucking bad. Just because that online is easier to do, and online is go at your own pace. You can do it in the comfort of your own home. You can do it in wherever. Doesn't necessarily mean it's easier. And it depends on the professor you have. Some professors are great. Some professors are dog shit. I happen to have majority dog shit professors that gave work out online. So that was traumatizing. And then again, if you have a lot of work, you're gonna resort to Google or just Spark Notes or Cliff Notes or fuck notes. I don't fucking know. All of these note-taking platforms and all these platforms that just have all these notes already given out for you. Great, fantastic. I 100% used and abused them, which was awesome because that meant I passed my classes. But it felt like a lot of these classes I just needed to pass, and there wasn't really any learning. It was just brain dump every single time after a test or a final or shit like that. So another thing with online schooling is distractions. Now, you might think I have a massive setup with Blinky computer, my awesome desktop, and I got the porn tablet. This is a combination of great things, but also it's really difficult to balance your distractions. It's really fucking difficult. You often check your phone or check your shit. You go on YouTube, go on Instagram, Snapchat, wherever. It does not fucking matter. You will get distracted, and it absolutely sucks because suddenly just 10 minutes of doom scrolling Twitter suddenly turns into 2 hours of just looking at memes and bullshit on wherever, because I've done that before. You got to make sure that you're dedicated enough to do the work, and you might wonder, how do you do it? Not well. Not well at all. In fact, I would say that I did quite poorly. Sometimes people can get work done very easily, and sometimes it's very difficult. But I did not just have online classes. I had something called hybrid classes. And hybrid classes is you take the worst part of online and you take the worst part of going in class and you combine them together to make this abomination of awful, terrible bullshit. So what I did to get back onto my schedule, I would go into school on certain days, and those were the days that I would actually have school. The rest of the days I would go into work, no problem. But on those days that I would go into school, only one of those days were actually in a classroom. I had to go to the campus library. And that is pretty nice because it's a library, it's calm, it's quiet, it's comfy, and you can get a whole room dedicated to whatever the fuck you want to do. You want to jack off in there? You want to have a gangbang in there? You can totally fucking do that. No one will bat an eye. But because of a lot of people were coming back from online schooling to in-person or hybrid classes, that meant we had the same problem with Zoom, where the internet was dog shit, except I'm not here with my fancy, gaming setup. I was at campus, and Zoom was even more dog shit than before. Nobody really had any idea on how to go do things, kind of. Some people I know and I saw were taking the class in their cars while they were driving. So I don't know how safe that is, but I'm assuming not. Don't drive and Zoom at the same time. Don't. You had these problems of connectivity. So, okay, maybe that you can just get the video, but you just join on your phone. That was not even better either. If you called into the number that Zoom provides you, it would be bad. It would not, the quality was terrible, and it sounded even worse than Transformers having sex inside two microwaves. It was bad. And a lot of the times, if you had questions, they would just go unanswered. It was just really bad. Would not recommend hybrid classes, but this is for math. So I took my hybrid class of math, and it was bad. Because A, it was a hybrid class, so it's online and in person. And B, I had to deal with this lovely company called Pearson. And if you don't know what Pearson is, they are the Comcast of education. That's all that you really need to know. Their whole thing sucked. Their whole thing was awful. For their tests that you had to do and the finals that you had to do, you had to go onto the computer. You had to install something on your computer, and it did not like this gamer setup that I have right here, because I guess I'm too gamer for the program. I don't know really what went wrong with it, but it tried to use my microphone. It defaulted to the wrong one, so they didn't get any audio out of it, as well as also it defaulted to the wrong webcam, because I use OBS to record, and it defaulted to the fucking OBS webcam, which is kind of funny. It's kind of funny. It's very funny, actually. You see all of these problems, or all of this shit with computers, with computer programs that just, you put in an answer and it's correct, but they still give you the finger if you somehow still get it wrong. For instance, if you put 3.5 instead of 3.5, because, oh, that's such a fucking difference. That happened regularly, but it also happened to be correct answers. So that was awesome. As well as also, there were some questions that you could not solve. There were questions that were completely broken and you could not solve. No matter if you try to use Wolfram Alpha, you try to use Photomath, you try to use Microsoft Math, GeoGebra, Desmos, you try to use all this shit to solve your problems, and suddenly you realize the problem that they gave you is bullshit, and then they tell you, oh yeah, you're just a fucking idiot. I'm sorry, I'm not a fucking computer. I can't do math. And even then, the answers that they give you are wrong. And also, the book sucked. You could not read the book very well because the website would go down all the time. Yeah, so that was awesome. I don't know why the website went down, and you might be thinking, well, why didn't you just get the ebook? I did get the ebook. I couldn't download it. I don't know why I couldn't download it. I just never was able to download it. So, that's awesome. Could be worse. I could have, had to deal with online classes that dealt with the same thing, and I had to do more bullshit, and the tests were not over the material that were taught. Oh wait, that did happen. Yeah, fuck, that I forgot. So outside of all of the negative that has happened in the span of this year that I learned college, because this is what I'm talking about is my second year. The third year of college is late, but it's coming out soon. Don't worry. I'm in the middle of doing stuff for that as well. Is study groups are very important. Now you might be wondering, well, how do you study during a pandemic? Or they're not with you, or you're not anywhere near them. You go to your public libraries, or you do it on Discord. And Discord is a bad idea because that means distractions. But if you're disciplined, you can totally do it. Lots of just doing things on your own or with somebody super help. As well as also, if you do have the ability to take your shit and leave your gamer setup and touch grass, you can go elsewhere outside of here, because you're going to be most distracted in the place that you spend the most amount of time in, because you can get away with it. It sucks. You might, need some of that stuff that you have here, but you can totally survive without it. It's all about that balance. You got to make sure that you're balancing everything out too. And another thing that is also very, very important is your mental health. Mental health has been a very big decline, I think, for a lot of people during this whole plague that has happened. And for basically everybody, because this has felt that year just felt way too long. Unbelievably long. I can't describe how long it actually did feel, because it was long and it was terrible. Hey, so I super messed up this section again. Basically, what I was trying to get on to this section of the video was you are 100% able to talk to people, talk about your feelings, just get it all out of there, because bottling it in is super unhealthy. I would know. I'm a very unhealthy person that bottles things in internally, and that kills me. You can talk to your friends, talk to your family, talk to a therapist, talk to your dog, talk to anybody that is willing to listen and gives a shit, because you do need to be okay. Mental health is very important. I cannot stress that enough. It is vital to literally everything that you do. Apologies, I fucked this section up again. Don't kill me again, please. Sorry. Back to the video. And if you know that somebody is struggling, talk to them. Totally A-okay to talk to somebody about it. Just to, provide company, provide support. You gotta be homies, right? Gotta, make sure that the homies are all right. Give them a little kiss. Tuck them in at night. Doesn't matter. Look out for your homies, all right? Oh, that was a saga of a whole second year of what I learned in purgatory, which was here and will be here. That was terrible. I hope you enjoyed this video. You can, like it, dislike it. I don't give a shit. If you want more content of this, subscribe. I don't recommend hitting the bell, because I literally don't upload unless if I feel compelled to or have time to. And even then, that's just like an offshoot because I'm terrible. But yeah, that's it. Hope to see you guys all in the next video whenever that comes out. Probably expect it within another year, because I can't fucking count and I can't do shit, because I'm a terrible time management person. Peace.